5 days later, Murong Hui brought Sima Yu and the Shao clan back to their duchy, Vast City. Vast City, as the Duchy of Vast Region, was the political center of the region, just like the capital city on Earth. Vast City was very large. In addition to the Duke Manor, there were also many big families. The Shao clan was one of them. After traveling for so many days, everyone was tired. Shao Ruobai and Sima Yu went their separate ways and returned to their own respective homes after making an appointment. Murong Hui brought Sima Yu back to the Duke Manor, and when saw that there was no main door at the entrance, he was furious. Who did this to the main door? He asked with restrained anger. The guards guarding the door knelt down one after another when they saw Murong Hui. Not to mention he was absolutely livid at this moment. Many people ran out of the gate and knelt down when they saw this. In reply to my lord, this main door was demolished by Great General D. The second steward replied while on his knees. Great General D. Murong Hui frowned. Since he broke it, why not replace it with a new one? We changed it several times, but they were all taken apart. Why? What happened? Master Mou and Great General D came here before. Master Mou lived in the Duke Manor, and the two seemed to be at odds. Great General D often came to the Duke Manor and would be in a rage after. Later, Master Mou closed the door. Every time Great General D came, he would destroy a door. After the same thing repeated for a while, Master Mou said that he would no longer fix the door, so it was left as is. Later, Master Mou left and didn't say when he would be back, so. The steward explained that everyone finally knew the cause and effect. The corners of Sima Yu's mouth twitched. The two guys even had the door torn down. Murong Hui looked at her, and she said with suppressed emotions, "Fix the gate, they won't be back." Then fix it. After Murong Hui finished speaking, he brought Sima Yu in. The people kneeling on the ground were a little surprised. How could the Duke ask for the young Miss' opinion? Also, young Miss seems very different from before. The steward quickly followed them in as the guards kept the gate, and some others went to find the prepared gate to change. Sheer, this is the front courtyard, this is where father handles official duties. When you were young, you used to come here to play. Every time when I asked you to go back, you will cry till you're all snotty. There is a lake over there. You love to play at the lake, so there's a lake in our place. Over there is. Murong Hui slowly introduced the surroundings to Sima Yu as he walked. The entourage who accompanied them were surprised to hear all these. Why did it feel as if the Duke was introducing his home to a stranger? Old Lin, what's going on? He grabbed Murong Lin and asked in surprise. There was a matter of young Miss being hunted down, and when she tried to escape, she fell down a cliff and lost her memory. She doesn't remember anything from before, that's why Master is bringing her around to get familiar with the things here. Murong Lin replied. Murong Hui and Sima Yu had both properly discussed the matter about Sima Yu's identity as Murong Shi. They both agreed that the less people know about this, the better. The second steward was surprised, before he exclaimed, "Miss has amnesia?" Yes, don't talk to Miss about the past in her face. Although she is now very different from before, let her past be bygones. Murong Lin said. The young Miss does look very different, even her temperament has changed, the second steward added. She used to be arrogant and domineering, but now she looks quieter, calmer and more confident, as if she had been reborn. After so many things happened, one would definitely change. Murong Lin sighed. At the same time, he was also extremely emotional. If the Real Miss could be as good as her, the master would have been less worried about her before, and maybe she would not end up being chased to death. Although the second steward was a little curious about Murong Shi's matter of being chased down, but seeing that Murong Lin didn't intend to talk about it, he didn't continue to ask. Anyway, these things could be known by asking another person. Murong Hui sent Sima Yu to Murong Shi's former courtyard and explained to her about the layout of the manor as well so that she could get a general idea. Father will probably be busy during this period. If you want to get familiar with the manor and the city, you can ask Ting Shan and Ting Shui. If you have any problems, you can find any of the stewards. If you still can't solve it, come to me. Murong Hui said before he left. Alright, father. Sima Yu nodded and walked him out. Ting Shan and Ting Shui instructed the maids to move in the things, which actually belonged to Murong Shi. Now that she inherited her identity, these things had also been brought back together. Ting Shan and Ting Shui had served Murong Shi before, hence those things were arranged according to Murong Shi's preference. After Sima Yu saw it, she felt that it was too luxurious and it was simply blatantly flaunting her wealth, so she put all those things away, packed them and stored them in the warehouse. In the following days, Murong Hui was really busy and Sima Yu hadn't even seen his shadow. As cultivators, they did not need to rest, hence streams of people entering and leaving the city lord manor were endless regardless day or night. When Sima Yu first knew it, she thought it was just because they had just returned to the duchy and had to manage the affairs of the region, so he was busy. But after a while, she discovered that these people who came were not simple, some were mysterious, and thinking of his sudden return, she felt that things were not that simple. She spent an entire day to understand the situation here and learned about Murong Shi's previous lifestyle. Hearing Ting Shan and Ting Shui's description, Sima Yu couldn't help holding her forehead. She behaved arrogantly and promiscuously. It was a must in life to molest a handsome boy. She was arrogant and extravagant in her style, and others thought of her as the devil. I can only say, it's fortunate that I have a good background. Sima Yu sighed, is my father still busy? Yes. On my way back, I saw someone enter the master's study. Ting Shui replied. Father is too busy, she said with distress, but I can't help much. Since I don't have much to do at home anyway, let's go shopping. After saying that, she planned to leave immediately, and it looked like she didn't plan to bring anyone else. Miss, let us servants accompany you. Ting Shan said, you don't remember those things outside. Let us servants accompany you, and we can also bring you around outside and introduce to you the different things. Sima Yu thought for a while before she nodded in agreement. If she went out by herself, she would just be wandering around. With them there, she could also get to have an in-depth understanding if they could explain to her the situation outside. So, she went out with Ting Shan and Ting Shui. When the guard captain saw her going out, he beckoned and ordered one of the guards, go and inform the steward, young miss is going out, does he want to send a team to guard like before? Sima Yu didn't walk far, but the guard's words still reached her ears. The corners of her mouth twitched and she accelerated her pace to leave even more. Previous chapter. Sima Yu was walking with a swagger along the street, and when those people saw her, they shunned her as if they had seen the god of plague. Especially those men, they fled in exaggeration when they saw her. After walking for a while away and found that this was the case. She turned around, looked at Ting Shan and Ting Shui and asked, it's always like this when I come out? No. Ting Shui answered. Am I even more scary now? She was speechless. Those people didn't used to run, but now they ran away when they saw her. We would usually come out with an entourage of guards. There was once when someone ran by, and you made the guards teach him a severe lesson. After that incident, when everyone saw that there were guards by your side, they didn't dare to run. Ting Shan explained. An entourage of guards who helped her abuse. If it was going to be like this, how could she go shopping? She walked aimlessly, thinking that this would not be good for shopping, and she would be seen as a monkey on the street. She saw a place that looked like a tea house next to her, and she wanted to go in. Just as she raised her foot. Miss. Ting Shan and Ting Shui ran over to hold her. Miss, you can't go in there. Sima Yu came back to her senses when she saw that the gazes at which the people looked at her changed. They were not as scared as before, but there were sparks of interest and expectations in their gazes. However, Ting Shan and Ting Shui looked at her with fear. What's wrong? Why can't I go in there? She asked curiously. Miss, you have been thrown out before. Ting Shan said, since then, miss, you have been barred from entering. You will be thrown out once you enter. Sima Yu was surprised, isn't it a tea house? Why have I been barred from entering? That's, because you once took liberties with the young master, from Crown City. Sima Yu. She even dared to take liberties with the young master who came from Crown City, no wonder even Murong Hui could only let her avoid things. Miss, if you are tired, let's change a place to rest. Ting Shan was afraid that Sima Yu would rush in again and she grabbed her arm to prevent her from doing stupid things. Sima Yu. She sighed and said, let's go to the other shop then. Alright. Ting Shan and Ting Shui hurriedly took her away, fearing that she would regret it the very next second. The people who were waiting in anticipation to watch the excitement were all frightened. It was as if they didn't recognize her anymore. Is this really the sorrowful ghost one? It doesn't seem to be right. The sorrowful ghost left like this? But if you take a closer look, it really is the sorrowful ghost. How is it like she has changed into a totally different person? That's too quiet, too nice. I thought she would totally reprimand her servant girl. I heard that the sorrowful ghost was chased and hunted down by someone while she was in Eternal Brilliant City and she almost died after falling off a cliff. Later, she was rescued by the Duke, but she hurt her head and lost her memory. Is that true? Of course it is true. This news came from the Duke Manor. Can it be fake? Yeah, it seems that the sorrowful ghost is really different. Can amnesia change a person's character? Whether or not if there is or isn't a change, we can't see it in such a short while. Maybe she just pretended and lied to us. Why don't we follow along? Yeah. So, many people followed Sima Yu to the opposite shop. On the second floor of the tea house, in a private room facing the street, a handsome man in white robes heard the commotion below and took a sip of the tea. Sorrowful ghost will change? Yuan Yen, do you believe it? He chuckled. She will change? Ha. Then pigs can fly. The man opposite him was also suave and handsome, but the manner in which he spoke was a lot more uncouth and he was also short-tempered. The moment the subject was about Murong Shi, his eyes were full of disgust. I'm really curious, what exactly did she do to you that made you hate her so deeply? The white-robed man put down the teacup and looked at him with a smile. Moj, since you have a close relationship with Master Mou, why don't you help me kill her? Anyway, with Master Mou, those people won't dare to touch you at all. How about it? Yuan Yen looked at him with expectations. The man smiled, how old are you? You still want someone to wipe your ass? Ugh, I'm so annoyed. I only came here after I heard that she was not in Vast City. I didn't expect that she would come back. Yuan Yen said irritably. I think she is fine. She seems to be a calm little lady. Moj said. She? Yuan Yen stretched his hand out in front of him and waved it up and down. Are you blind? It's because I am blind that's why I meet with you. Moj retorted back mercilessly. TCH. Yuan Yen retracted his hand and snorted coldly. He then looked at the shop on the opposite side of the street that was surrounded by people. He didn't know if it was because he saw Sima Yuyu's figure or thought of what she did to him, and his body couldn't help but his hair stood on ends. Mog swept his gaze over to see what was happening and asked, didn't you say that she was a waste? Why did she buy so many medicinal materials? Who knows? Yuan Yen was not interested in what Sima Yuyu was buying over there. Mog raised his eyebrows, his eyes became more curious. What is it this time? Yuan Yen asked sulkily. Don't think he didn't know that the reason why Mog was so interested in Murongxi was not how she really was, but because she had taken liberties with him before. He just wanted to watch a drama unfold. If he had known that he would meet this woman, he would not bring him here at all. Mog looked over there and said, that shop, the first floor sells pills and medicinal materials, the second floor is for armaments, the third floor is for arrays, and the fourth floor is for spirit stones, right? Well, yeah. What's the matter? Yuan Yen didn't even want to look over there. That Murongxi chose a lot of medicinal materials on the first floor, then went to the second floor to see armaments. She then went to the third floor to buy some blank array stones and went around on the fourth floor but found that the spirit stones were too expensive and gave up. Mog said slowly. TCH, she's just a waste, the most she'll buy it back and get someone help her refine it. Yuan Yen said impatiently, alright, let's not talk about her. The interest in tea tasting is gone. Haha, I think she is pretty cute. Mog chortled. Well, if you think that she is so good, go find her then. Why are you still here having tea with me? Yuan Yen said unhappily. Alright, I won't talk about it anymore. If your affairs are settled this time round, it will be easier when you return to the family. Mog no longer teased him. You really know where to poke where it hurts. Come on, just drink your tea. Yuan Yen put another cup of tea into his hand and harumphed. Aren't I worried about you? I don't see any concern, I only found you gloating. Yuan Yen snorted coldly. Did I? At this time, there was a noise from the door of the opposite shop, only a voice filled with flatter was heard, Miss, please take care. Please come again next time. Sima Yuyu's figure appeared at the door of the shop, followed by a bunch of people. Seeing the smiles on the faces of those people, Yuan Yen curled his lips, now it is estimated that only these businesses in this city will welcome her. I'm really curious, why did she buy those things for? Mog muttered. You can't be thinking that she bought it for her own use, right? Yuan Yen said disdainfully, there are many masters of different professions in the Duke Manor. Only those with knowledge will purchase these. Mog said. She's a waste, she doesn't even have spirit power. Really? But my instinct tells me that she is not that simple. You wouldn't be led by her farce, would you? Hey, where are you going? Yuan Yen did not finish his words when Mog got up and left. I always directly investigate what I am interested in. Mog's voice trailed away and he had already reached the corner of the stairs. Yuan Yen turned his head and glanced at Sima Yuyu on the street. He was feeling very disgusted and impatient at this moment, so he tried to calm himself down and did not move. Sima Yuyu looked at the people on the street, frowned, and said to Ting Shan, let's go back. Oh, look, who is this? When did our trash sorrowful ghost return to the city? A shrill and sharp voice filled with scorn and mockery was heard. Sima Yuyu turned to the source of the voice and saw a group of men and women swaggering over on the right side of the street, headed by a woman dressed in red. Looks aren't too bad, it's just that the chin is about to rise to the sky. Sima Yuyu commented. The people on the street saw this group of people, and they all stepped back immediately. These people couldn't afford to be offended. Especially when these two people were together, they didn't want to be implicated, hence they had to take drastic measures to avoid it at all costs. Sima Yuyu looked at the group of people approaching, blinked, and turned to ask Ting Shan, who are these bunch of flashy show-offs? Everyone. Miss, the flashiest one leading the front is Dong Qi Shuang, the eldest miss of the Dong clan. The others are her lackeys. Ting Shan replied in a straightforward manner. Dong clan? She dares to provoke me? Sima Yuyu asked in a befuddled manner. The Dong clan has a young miss who is the prince's favored concubine. Ting Shan said, because of that concubine, the Dong clan status in vast region has also improved a lot. She used to bully young miss, but because you don't want the master to confront the Dong clan directly and put him in a difficult position. So, every time we were bullied by her, we were not allowed to tell the master. As a result, she became even worse. A favored little concubine, Sima Yuyu said it with jest, have you ever heard of this saying? What saying? Sima Yuyu smiled faintly, and her red lips opened, when a man attains the Tao, even his chickens and dogs ascend to heaven. 1. Although their voices weren't loud, they weren't too soft as well. People with spirit power could hear them clearly. Murongxi, what do you mean by this? Dong Qi Shuang had just walked up to her, and her entire face was distorted when she heard this. You don't understand such simple words? Sima Yuyu asked with a smile, you know there's also another saying, to eat what you lack. It seems that you need to eat more pig brains. PFFTTTT, it was the first time those people heard such a curse and felt that Murongxi's IQ was much higher. Mog just arrived at the entrance of the tea house. Hearing this, he stopped, instead of continuing to pass, he stopped in place and looked over there. Do you dare to scold me for having no brains? How could Dong Qi Shuang not understand what she meant? You are the one with no brains. Who has and who hasn't, it's evident and everyone can see clearly, right? Sima Yu chuckled lightly. One was angry and impatient, while the other was calm and elegant. It was clear at first glance. Dong Qi Shuang tried her best to calm herself down as she took 2 deep breaths. She said coldly, I can't see it. After staying in the little nook of a mountain for a while, your mouth has changed a lot. No, I have always been like this, but I was too lazy to pay attention to you before. Sima Yu said, I think I was wise before. People like you don't need to pay attention to it. It's a waste of my time. Talking to her was a waste of time. Sima Yu didn't want to talk to people like her anymore, and said to Ting Shan and Ting Shui, let's go back. Stop. Dong Qi went up and stopped in front of her. Why? Sima Yu raised her eyebrows, I didn't provoke you today. If you fight with me, you will be the one who is in the wrong. Even if I beat you till you have half a breath left, your family wouldn't dare to say anything. You may have a relative up there, but don't forget, my father is the duke and your clan still belongs under my father's jurisdiction. You didn't provoke me. You call my Dong clan a chicken and dog, isn't that provoking? Dong Qi Shuang said viciously, I will return your words to you. Even if I beat you till you have half a breath left, your father wouldn't dare to say anything. Are you really stupid? Sima Yu looked at her as if she was looking at an idiot. I just mentioned the saying, when a man attains the Tao, even his chickens and dogs ascend to heaven. Did I say that the chicken and dog is your Dong clan? Maybe I was referring to him or maybe to her. Why are you so anxious to buckle this hat on your Dong clan? If you really feel that is so, then you can make me stay. If you don't feel that way, a good dog won't stand in the way. After finishing speaking, she bypassed Dong Qi Shuang and left. Ting Shan and Ting Shui hurriedly followed. After passing through the crowd, the two finally couldn't help laughing. Miss cursed like this, which was much cooler than how she used to jump and smash things with anger. By the time Dong Qi Shuang reacted, Sima Yu was already far away. She gritted her teeth and shouted, Murong Shi. Sima Yu just turned around the corner with Ting Shan and Ting Shui, leaving everyone with a burning image. Mo Ji stood at the door thinking for a while, but didn't go up to look for her. From where he was standing, he happened to see Sima Yu turn at the street corner and looked back at him. What a keen little lady. Yuan Yen saw him coming back so soon, raised his brows and glanced at him, aren't you going to find her? The goal has been achieved. Mo Ji sat back in his place. Huh. Yuan Yen raised his eyebrows, but you didn't meet her? But I already understand. Mo Ji said, although it may be only 4 or 5 points, but I can be sure that she is not the person you are talking about. Seeing what he said was so certain, Yuan Yen was also a little skeptical. From her performance just now, there is indeed a big difference. In the past, she was always bullied by Dong Qi Shuang. It was never like this. Speaking with such precision. Maybe, her amnesia really changed her. Mo Ji said meaningfully. It would be great if it was that way. She won't pester me. Yuan Yen muttered. Mo Ji lowered his head to drink the tea, with a smile that seemed like nothing at the corner of his mouth. Is it true that a person's memory loss will change his personality? He was really curious about what it would be like to really come into contact with her. Maybe, the plan could be changed. Previous chapter. After Sima Yu left and only after walking 2 streets with Ting Shan and Ting Shui when she was sure that no one was chasing her, she heaved a sigh of relief. Phew, luckily she didn't chase. Sima Yu let out a sigh of relief. Miss, aren't you not afraid? Ting Shui was taken aback when seeing Sima Yu like this. How am I not afraid? There are only 3 of us. There are so many of them. If we really fight, we will be the ones who get beaten. Although we won't die, it would hurt so bad. Sima Yu said, if we can avoid getting beaten, let's avoid it. Haha, that's true. Ting Shui said with a smile, but miss, why do you buy so many medicinal materials and array stones? There are medicinal materials in the house. Well, what I bought were all low-level medicinal materials so that I can bring it back practice. Sima Yu said. Practice? Miss, do you want to attempt alchemy? Miss, this, if you want, whatever pill you want, just talk to the alchemist in the manner. This alchemy is a very dangerous thing, let's not do this. Ting Shan said. Don't worry, it's very simple. Sima Yu didn't think too deeply about what she meant, thinking that she was simply afraid of the cauldron exploding or something. But miss, if you want to try alchemy, you have to first be able to cultivate. Ting Shan said again. Sima Yu paused, well, what you said is true indeed. One has to be able to cultivate first. Ting Shan was afraid that Sima Yu had a terrifying idea like before, so she wanted to kill Sima Yu's idea of alchemy in the cradle. When she heard her reply, she thought that she had convinced her, but before she had time to be happy, she was horrified by Sima Yu's following words. However, we can prepare things first and start after 2 days. Ting Shan. Miss, you have on a very serious expression right now. Are you sure you are not teasing me? Murong Hui was contemplating for a moment before he said, let her do what she wants. Tell the steward what she needs and let them prepare. Ting Shan thought Murong Hui would stop it, but she didn't expect him to ignore it. Although she was puzzled, she still didn't say anything. Master, alchemy is very dangerous, do you really want Miss to learn alchemy? Murong Lin asked. She knows. She will not take unwarranted risks. Murong Hui said with affirmation. She still has so many things to do, how could she put herself in danger? And he heard that she was great in the human world, so she should also be able to manage alchemy. After spending some time together, he still knows a little about her. She was not that kind of ignorant person. After Sima Yu went back, she asked Ting Shan and Ting Shui to clean up a room and set it up as an alchemy room. Then she shut herself in. She didn't come out for 2 days, and during this period, she didn't even eat any food. This, in turn, alarmed Murong Hui. When she came out of the alchemy room safe and sound, all she saw was the person who was guarding in the courtyard. Father, why are you here? She asked in surprise. Wasn't he busy? I heard that you haven't come out for 2 days, they thought something might have happened to you. Murong Hui said, what were you doing in there? I'm alright, it's nothing. When I saw those medicinal materials, my hands got a little itchy. I just forgot the passage of time after dabbling for a while. Sima Yu said. As long as you are alright. Murong Hui nodded. Father, I have something to tell you. Sima Yu looked at him, and it was obvious that she meant to talk alone. Murong Hui waved his hand to the other people in the courtyard, and after everyone retreated, he asked, what do you want to say? Father, what do you think this is? She took out an array stone. An array stone, what's the matter? It's just that the array pattern is a bit weird. Murong Hui was not an array master, so he can only recognize it roughly. Father, stand still. Sima Yu asked him to stand in place, then took out a few array stones, arranged an array around him, and then imbued her measly soul power into it. Black light flowed, and as the array started, Murong Hui felt that the spirit power around him was getting denser and denser, and he was shocked. Sheer, isn't this array just like the legendary spirit gathering array? He looked at the array stones and couldn't hide the excitement in his heart. Vast region had always been ranked in the middle of their kingdom, and the strength cannot be improved. The main reason was that their spirit power here was thinner. If he has this, he could also quickly train some people out. This is just the simplest spirit gathering array. Sima Yu said, this range is small, so it looks good. But if you expand it, the effect wouldn't be so good. Murong Hui was not disappointed, you said that this is the simplest spirit gathering array, isn't there something better? Yes. But the kind of array stone is better, and secondly, it is better to find the spirit gathering beads. If you can have this, the effect of the spirit gathering array can be doubled. Sima Yu said. This spirit gathering array is not so easy to find, right? What does it look like? Murong Hui asked. I really don't know about the spirit gathering bead in the ghost realm. Sima Yu said, but I think you can find it if you look for it. Well, I'll order people to search for it in a while. Murong Hui said, Sheer, it's perfect timing. With the spirit gathering array, we can get a better ranking in the region competition in the following year. More than 2 years should be enough. So, has father already have people in mind? When she saw him so happy, she smiled. There are 3 people who have been directly selected without going through the city competition. They were cultivated by me over the years, and their talent and strength are far superior to others. They are my trump card for the region competition. Murong, she said. Originally, I was not confident, but with your spirit gathering array coupled with the improvement over the past 2 years, we are more sure about it. Sima Yu nodded, since we are going to participate in the region competition, then we have to fight for every second. Father, first you find some high-level array stones. I will arrange a better array first, and then let them cultivate inside. When you find the spirit gathering bead, you can arrange a better one. Alright. But it's better to keep this matter secret, and arrange the array in Hibiscus Court? Murong Hui suggested. The Hibiscus Court here was the same place as the Hibiscus Court in Eternal Brilliant City. It was where all the hidden men used to stay, and there were still several people living in it. Murong Hui was going to let them go and arrange it as a place for cultivation. Sima Yu had no affection for Hibiscus Court, so she agreed that everything is the same. So Murong Hui quickly went to find a high-level array and let her set it up in Hibiscus Court. However, she didn't think it was anything, but the 3 geniuses felt insulted, especially when they were taken to Hibiscus Court without telling them anything. The faces of all 3 of them were flushed red with anger. Sima Yu was setting up her array in the courtyard, and when she turned her head, she saw 3 black faces. She raised her eyebrows, these 3 people came so quickly. She hasn't arranged it yet. Miss, what do you mean? We are going to participate in the region competition as a contestant. It is impossible to be one of your little pets. That's right. Although you are a young lady, we are not from the manor, nor are the ones you snatched from outside. You are insulting us by doing this. We must go to the Duke to ask clearly, what does this mean? Before she could speak, those people started berating her angrily. Sima Yu touched her nose, did you make a mistake? What's wrong? Didn't you bring us here? Isn't this the first place where you keep your male pets? I really didn't ask you to come yet. Sima Yu said innocently. She just asked the steward to notify them to come here in a while, who knew they had come so quickly. You still dare to quibble? Forget it, Ziping, don't waste time with her, let's go to the Duke and ask for an explanation. You are right, let's go to the Duke. The 3 of them were about to leave after they had finished speaking. As soon as they turned around, they saw Murong Hui coming in. Greetings, Duke. Facing Morong Hui, although he lost his aggressive momentum, he was still very angry, but he respectfully saluted him. Morong Hui saw that the three of them were angry, and asked, "What's wrong?" He looked at Sima Yu, who shrugged her shoulders, curled her lips, and said nothing. "Duke, this hibiscus court is where Miss keeps her male pets. What does she mean by letting us be brought here? Isn't it because she wants us to be gigolos?" The character of the person named Gu Ziping was the most impulsive, and he directly questioned the stunned Morong Hui. "What pet? She doesn't want you to be anything like that." "No? Then why would you call us to hibiscus court?" The three were stunned. If Sima Yu said no, they would not believe it. But now that the Duke said so, they were a little skeptical. "This matter is very important, you three have to swear not to say it." Morong Hui stared at the three people as his expression turned somber. The three of them were all cultivated by Morong Hui with his own hands. To put it bluntly, they owe their success and lives to him. If they weren't able to keep today's affairs a secret, he would even simply just make them dumb for life, so that they can't say nothing. The Duke can rest assured that if we talk about today's affairs, we will be struck by thunder. The three vowed solemnly together. Unlike the human world, the people of the Ghost Clan are even more afraid of such an oath, because the gods will chop them clean when they break the contract. After Morong Hui and the other three swear an oath, Morong Hui said, "We are here to set up a spirit gathering array, which can attract spirit power from other places and speed up your cultivation." Spirit gathering array? The three of them all looked at Morong Hui in shock. "Duke, is that the legendary spirit gathering array?" "Yes. This spirit gathering array has been lost for a long time. If it is announced, you all know how big a wave it will cause." Morong Hui warned them, "The region competition is about to start. Only a stable environment will be conducive to your cultivation. With this spirit gathering array, your cultivation will surely get twice the result with half the effort. Don't miss such a good opportunity." The three of them were all excited, but they didn't expect that they would be able to use this spirit gathering array one day. "I will definitely cultivate hard and live up to the Duke's expectations," the three said in unison. Morong Hui was very satisfied with their attitude. "My Duke, I have a question, why do you want to set up a spirit gathering array here?" Gu Ziping asked. "Naturally, it is to avoid people's eyes and ears." Morong Hui said, "The people that were kept here have been quietly released, but others don't know, and they won't know that you are living here." So that was the case, it seems that they really misunderstood. The three scratched their ears, and then bowed to Sima Yu apologetically. "Miss, I'm sorry, we misunderstood you before, and we were rude to you. Please punish us. Remember to give someone the opportunity to explain next time." Sima Yu didn't say magnanimously that it was alright, but the attitude of the three of them who knew their mistakes and could correct them was good. "Sheer, have you arranged it yet?" Morong Hui asked. 2 arrays have been completed, and the last one needs just a little bit more to be done. Sima Yu said, "I'm about to make the last point, and they will come in." Gu Ziping and the three people only noticed that she still had 2 array stones in her hand. Just now because he was so angry, he didn't even notice it. "My Duke, is this array arranged by Miss?" "That's right, otherwise why do you think she is here?" Morong Hui said. "Miss, is an array master? I haven't heard of it before. There are some things, it's better to not rely on hearsay." Sima Yu advised authoritatively, although Morong Shi and her had never spoken, she was still Morong Hui's beloved daughter and her own god-sister. "Father, I'm going to fix the rest." "Go ahead," Morong Hui said with a smile. He discovered that as long as she had acknowledged any matter, she would put her heart to it. Gu Ziping and the others were advised in such a manner and they were a little unconvinced. Although they haven't had much contact with Morong Shi, they still heard a lot. Was she an array master? And even knew how to arrange the long-lost array? This was too impossible, right? But seeing Sima Yu really arranging the array meticulously, the three of them felt that what she had just advised was right. It was very time, or it would be better to have less hearsay. Sima Yu had arranged the array and doing so consumed a lot of energy. Very soon, her small face was a little pale and her complexion was very bad. Seeing it made Morong Hui feel distressed. "Father, imbue some spirit power over here." Sima Yu pointed to a place and said. Her current strength was very poor and that little pitiful spirit power was not enough to activate such a large array. Morong Hui came to the place where Sima Yu pointed out, imbued spirit power in it and activated the array. It immediately enveloped the entire front of the house. Sima Yu then asked him to activate the other 2 arrays. "There are 3 rooms in this house, 1 for each of you." Sima Yu said, "When my strength improves in the future, I will upgrade your array." "Thank you, Mississippi." Sima Yu didn't embarrass them any further. Morong Hui saw her, she seemed to have no energy, and said, "First take the pill, and then go back to rest. For this array, you have been tired for 10 over days." Sima Yu ate the pill, and said a little discouraged, "It's also because the strength is too low now. If the strength improves, it will only take an hour or 2 to deploy this array. I miss the days when I had the strength before." Sima Yu returned to her courtyard. For the current her, the arrangement of such a large array was still too difficult. Fortunately, this only consumed her mental power, and she could recover from rest. "I don't know if the previous cultivation methods are useful or not." She muttered to herself, "Fortunately, my mental power is stronger than ordinary people, otherwise I really can't survive. I remember that every time I consume it and then recover, my mental power would be enhanced. Maybe it can be used now." Hey, when are you going to find a mineral vein to restore my strength? Me came out and stood in front of her bed with his hands across his chest, looking at her with dissatisfaction. My strength is still so weak, I just entered the condensing stage, and I can't do anything. Sima Yu said, and this vein is not any Chinese cabbage growing along the sides of the street. It's not something that can be attained with a simple want. It's useless if the veins that have been developed as the potential has all been released. Of course I know that, I'm not stupid. Me glared at her. You are not stupid. Sima Yu said, you didn't think about this before, why did you suddenly bring it up now? Humph. Me snorted coldly, turned around and ignored her. This woman had never thought of helping him regain his strength. Sima Yu saw him like this, suddenly sat up and looked at him with beaming eyes. Do you know where there are undeveloped veins? Humph, you are still a little clever. Me was happy now, and turned back to look at her. Then do you know where it is? If there is news, let's go now. Sima Yu was excited. If Me could regain his strength, what else could she fear in the ghost realm? I don't know. Seeing her disappointed eyes, he added, but I felt it. You didn't sense it in atavistic Orchid Mountain before, but now you sense it, so it's near here? It's not very far. Me said, however, I feel a lot of people are going over there. I think your father as well. Is this what father has been busy with recently? Sima Yu supported her chin with one hand. If it is a mineral vein, it is indeed worth his rush to come back. You have to help your father find the vein first. Then you have a legitimate reason to go in. Me said, actually, if you want me to say, best is to just head straight in and swallow everything. How good would that be? That way you will be discovered by others. Sima Yu sighed. When I recover my strength, I'll go and rescue your mother. How about it? So, you don't have to worry about it all the time. We still don't know where my mother is suppressed, so we have to find the Ghost King. But it's not the time yet. Sima Yu lay back. Furthermore, Lin said that only I can rescue mother. Oh, it's really troublesome. Me looked at her speechlessly. Anyway, restore my strength first. All right. Sima Yu closed her eyes. When I wake up, I'll talk to father about this. Before she finished speaking, she was already asleep. Me rolled his eyes, and when he was about to go back, Blackie nudged the door open, and his small body squeezed in through the crack of the door, with a skull flute in his mouth. Blackie, you are playing around with this thing again. If you lose it, you will let Little Purple strike you. Me threatened. Blackie put the skull flute on the ground, called to Me twice, then picked up the flute and went aside to play. When he was tired from playing, he put the flute on his stomach and the flute disappeared. It patted its stomach with satisfaction, and its toys were all inside. If it weren't for it, Yu's things would have been sealed. That's why she doesn't blame it. Me raised his forehead. Why do I share the same master with you? It's really a sad thing. Blackie jumped onto Sima Yu's bed, turned his butt at him, and then found a place to fall asleep on his stomach. Me sighed, and flashed back into Sima Yu's body. Sima Yu slept for 2 days, Ting Shan and Ting Shui, and did not dare to bother. 2 days later, she finally woke up, but instead of having enough sleep, she was awakened from hunger. She touched her gurgling belly, and said regretfully, if I knew, I would have eaten something before I sleep. Without the spirit pagoda, the food she eats now was not so delicious, especially the cooking skills of the chefs, although they were much higher than the outside, it could not hide the unpalatable things they made. But, even if it was unpalatable, she still had to eat. She got up and hurried in after hearing the movement. Ting Shan, you wait for me to wash, and Ting Shui, go and see what is there to eat in the kitchen and get me some. I am starving to death. Sima Yu ordered. Yes, Mississippi. After that, Ting Shui bowed, turned around and went out. Ting Shan waited for her to wash up, and Ting Shui brought some food back. Where is my father? Master went out this morning. Before leaving, he came over and asked the servants to tell the miss that he might not be back over the next few days. Ting Shan replied. Did he mention anything else? No. Sima Yu nodded, indicating that she knew, and then sat down to eat. She didn't know if Murong Hui's departure was related to the mineral vein. As the Duke, he must have a lot of things to deal with. Since he only left for a few days, then she would wait in the manor. Ting Shui heard something outside, went out for a while, before she came back in and said, young Miss Xiao is here. Roa Bai is here. Lead her to the living room. Sima Yu quickly polished up her food, and wiped out the things in front of her. It was not how delicious the food was, but how hungry was at this moment. After she finished eating, she went to Xiao Ruabai. Xiao Ruabai was looking at her living room and saw her come in and said, speaking of which, this is the first time I have entered the Duke Manor. You are welcome to come more often in the future. Sima Yu walked over, sat next to her, and asked, are the things that you've been busy with all almost settled? Yes. Finally. It really took quite some time finishing all those tasks. Xiao Ruabai exclaimed, I heard that you and Dong Qi Shuang had a quarrel. A few days have passed. Sima Yu did not deny it. When I heard about it, I thought you were pretty awesome. You cursed people without any dirty words, and it made her unable to refute. When a man attains the Tao, even his chickens and dogs ascend to heaven. This really describes the Dong clan very well. You are here today to praise me for cursing well? Of course not, I'm here to take you shopping. Xiao Ruabai said. Sima Yu looked at her, smiled, and said, this time it shouldn't be as simple as shopping, right? Tell me, what other purpose is there? Previous chapter. Seeing her determined eyes, Xiao Ruobai smiled suddenly, shook her head, and said, I can't hide anything from you. Sima Yu raised her eyebrows, so something really happened. Do you know that recently, many people from outside have come to Vast City? Xiao Ruobai asked. I don't know. This Vast City is the Duchy of Vast Region. Isn't it normal that there will be visitors from out of town? If that's the case, my grandfather and the others would not be so nervous. If we can find some the news after strolling about, wouldn't they already know them? That's true. Xiao Ruobai said, but since I'm already here, let's just take it as an excuse and let's go shopping. You aren't very familiar with Vast City, right? Let me bring you around and you'll soon get familiar with it. Xiao Ruobai declared. Sima Yu didn't refuse either. She didn't go to many places the last time. Now that Murong Hui was not at home, so it was alright to go out and stroll around. When Ting Shui heard that she decided to go out, she went to report to Murong Lin. He wasn't very concerned about where she was going, but when he knew that she would be heading out, he had to pay attention to her safety. When they were about to leave, Blackie ran out and barked twice at Sima Yu. Be good, stay home and play. Sima Yu lowered her head and said, woo woo. Blackie bit the corner of her skirt, as if saying, if you don't take me along, I won't let you go. This little guy is still like this. No. Sima Yu said, what should you do if you go out and you are not obedient? Woo woo woo. It won't. Really? Blackie nodded its head vigorously with affirmation. Alright, then. Sima Yu agreed, and Blackie immediately let go of her skirt. Blackie usually played around in the manor. The first time he went out, everything he saw was fresh and new to him, so he would run here to look at it 2 times and run there to look at it at few times, behaving very much like a person. Sima Yu and Xiao Ruobai followed, looking at it speechlessly. But it just went around to explore and didn't do anything to hurt others, so they didn't care. The people on the streets were very angry when they saw Blackie making trouble at first, but when they saw Sima Yu who was following, they didn't dare to speak again. Sheer, the spirit cloth in this shop is pretty good, let's go in and have a look. Xiao Ruobai took her to a shop selling clothes. Alright. Sima Yu called Blackie back and took it into the shop with her. Blackie was fast and rushed in before the people guarding the entrance of the store could stop it, while Sima Yu and Xiao Ruobai were stopped outside. My family's lady is inside, you can't go in. The person at the door stretched out his hand and said with a cold face, this door is wide open, why can't we enter? The attendant who knew Xiao Ruobai and Sima Yu quickly stepped forward and explained with a smile, my lady, young Miss Xiao, I'm really sorry, Dong Clan's young miss came today and has reserved the whole shop. So it is closed to others today. Closed to others today? When did your iridescent clouds pavilion start to allow such reservations of the entire shop? This isn't a reservation of the entire shop, but my young master is entertaining friends. The attendant explained. For one moment, you said that Dong Clan's young miss has booked the entire venue, and the next moment is that your young master is entertaining friends. You keep changing your words, do you think we are so easily fooled? Xiao Ruobai said with a cold face. Young Miss Xiao, don't be angry, I really don't mean that. Our iridescent clouds pavilion usually doesn't allow others to book the entire shop. It is precisely because young Miss Dong is a good friend of my young master that he will let them book the entire shop. The attendant smiled. I'm really sorry about today. Both of you will get a 20% discount on the shop when you come the next time. Dong Clan's young miss? Dong Qi Shuang? No, Dong Qi Shuang doesn't have such a big name. It is most probably Dong Qi Lian who is the one who engaged in such a big battle. Xiao Ruobai snorted coldly, only that woman likes to pay attention to such useless antic. Who is Dong Qi Lian? Dong Clan's young miss, Dong Qi Shuang's relatives, the best gifted junior of the Dong Clan. She also has a good relationship with that lit concubine, and often runs to the palace to stay. When we first came back, we heard that she was still in the palace. Humph, I didn't expect her to be back so soon. Xiao Ruobai snorted. Then we. Sima Yu hadn't finished speaking when a shrill scream from inside resounded. Eh? Where did the dog come from? Kill it for me. Then came a whole chorus of chaotic voices mixed with Blacky's cry. Kill it. Kill it. What are you still doing? Don't you know that my sister hates underworld dogs the most? Where did this underworld dog come from? Dong Qi Shuang's voice was as shrill as ever. Eldest miss, second miss, we don't know how this one got in. Let's chase it out. What nonsense are you uttering? Who said anything about chasing? Kill it on the spot. This, yes. Sima Yu and Xiao Ruobai rolled their eyes helplessly when they heard the movement inside. I forgot that Dong Qi Lian was chased by many stray dogs when she was young, so she hated dogs since she was a child. Since she saw Blackie, I'm afraid. Xiao Ruobai said with some worry. Woof, woof, woof. Blackie's cheerful barks resounded next. It didn't sound that it had suffered one bit. Xiao Ruobai saw that Sima Yu did not intend to go in, nor was she anxious, and asked, aren't you worried about Blackie? What's to worry about? It won't be the one who suffers. Sima Yu was calm. Xiao Ruobai wanted to say how can you be so confident, but listening to the movement inside, it seems that Blackie was indeed fine. Wasn't Blackie an ordinary dog? Is it so powerful and can escape so much manpower from it? Bang, bang. Aha. It was utter chaos inside, and the people guarding outside were worried and ran in to help. No one is stopping us now, let's go in and take a look. See, what kind of dog is this? Why is it so fast? Every time he wanted to catch it, it would slip away. Was this speed really something a dog could attain? Are you all a bunch of rubbish? So many people can't even catch one mere dog. When did my Dong clan raise such a bunch of rubbish? Sima Yu walked in and saw Dong Qi Shuang standing beside a woman with a similar appearance and a good-looking man standing on the side. In the shop, a group of people were sprawled on the ground, while a few chased Blackie everywhere. Xiao Ruobai looked at the scene here, happy. Especially the guards of Dong clan everywhere, and Dong Qi Lian's shocked look, laughed so much that she couldn't stand up straight. Yuan Yan frowned when he saw Sima Yu, the disgust in his eyes made no secret. Dong Qi Shuang saw Sima Yu and Dong Qi Shuang and shouted, Murong Shi, what are you doing here? Sima Yu didn't want to pay attention to this kind of idiot. Seeing that Blackie was almost done playing, she called, Blackie, come back. Blackie was playing hide and seek with the people who chased it. Hearing Sima Yu's call, he rushed over like lightning and threw itself into her arm. Are you hurt? Sima Yu touched Blackie's body to check whether it was injured, and completely ignored them. This underworld dog is yours? Seeing Sima Yu's reaction, Dong Qi Shuang looked at her and asked, That's right, so many of you tried to kill my little dog. I will tell my father about this matter. This was a rare breed that he took great pains to find it for me, yet it was almost killed by the lot of you. I don't know how your Dong clan intends to account for this. Sima Yu coldly harumphed, You actually still want us to give you an account? You scared my sister so badly, and not only did you not obediently hand over your dog, but you also actually dare to talk so presumptuously? I have never seen such a shameless person. You want to kill my dog, shouldn't you account for it? Sima Yu shot back immediately. Are you trying to reason with us? Your underworld dog suddenly appeared and scared my sister. It's obvious that we would want to kill it. Dong Qi Shuang retorted. My little dog appeared and scared your sister, so you want to kill it. Then your appearance scared me, can I kill you too? Can that be the same? Dong Qi Shuang yelled. What is the identity of a mere underworld dog? What is my identity? Do you dare to compare me with it? Oh. Sima Yu suddenly realized, what you said is right, it can't be compared, you are far worse than my little dog. Comparing you with him, isn't it lowering his status? PFFTTT. Xiao Ruobai burst out with laughter. Seeing Dong Qi Shuang who was so angry, she waved her hand and said apologetically, I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it back. It was alright if she didn't explain, but as soon as she explained it, Dong Qi Shuang was even more angry. Murong Shi, I didn't expect that if I haven't seen you in a few years, you have become sharp-tongued. Dong Qi Lian saw the completely different Sima Yu, and she didn't even scold Dong Qi, and said, Who are you? I'm sorry, I don't know most people. Sima Yu curled her lips, but didn't put Dong Qi Lian in her eyes. Murong Shi, I know that you have amnesia, but you don't have to pretend. Today's matter is caused by your underworld beast. You must give us an explanation today, alright. Go. I want to see, you wanted to kill my little dog indiscriminately, what will my father tell you? Sima Yu was not worried, and gently stroked Blackie, even if this matter is brought to the front of the Duke, you will be at a loss. Where was there any indiscrimination? Obviously, it was your little dog that scared my sister. Dong Qi Shuang cried out, but my little dog didn't attack her either. It just wandered around in the shop and didn't even touch the corners of your sister's clothes. If this is scared, then the reason should be found from your sister. If it wasn't for her timidity, how could she be frightened by herself? So, the reason lies with you. Sima Yu retorted calmly. We have already reserved this entire place, so it's not for anyone to enter. If it weren't for the sudden appearance of the dog, tell me, how could the next thing happen? Then you can't blame me for this thing. Sima Yu said innocently, you said that it was because people were not allowed to enter, which caused today's things, but you only stipulated that people can't come in, and you didn't mention beasts. Can't you enter? In that case, the little dog can come in casually. PFFTT cough. Xiao Ruobai tried to control herself not to laugh, but her body really betrayed her completely. Sima Yu glanced at her and continued, if you didn't stop me and Ruobai outside, would have caught up with my little dog and it wouldn't appear suddenly and scare your sister. In that case, then if you want to blame someone, you can only blame the two guards at the door, right? You are very arrogant. Dong Qi Shuang didn't know how to argue any further and could only stomp her foot and exclaim angrily, how am I arrogant? What I said makes sense, alright? Sima Yu said, if you didn't stop me, would my little dog run in by himself? If it wasn't your sister who was timid, and my little dog didn't attack her at all, she's frightened by it on its own? If you want to kill it, it will naturally run away. Is it to blame it? Of course it is. Yes, if it is just an ordinary dog, if its owner is just an ordinary person, in the face of your Dong clan strength, it is indeed guilty. But it is true, unfortunately, its owner happens to be me. Sima Yu said, what are we to do? You want to kill me, but you dare not. After all, this is in broad daylight and before the eyes of everyone, my Duke manner is not that easy to provoke. You are very confident that we can't do anything to you today? Dong Qi Lian said, it's a pity that you met me today. Go, kill the mongrel for me. Dong Qi Lian instructed her guard and immediately after, that guard stood up and prepared to take action. Humph, let me tell you that my sister has been appreciated by the prince and has been directly qualified for the dynasty competition. You, the mere daughter of a duke, can compare with my sister? Go, kill that mongrel, if she can't bear it, then simply kill her along with it. When ordered, the guard's eyes on Sima Yu were full of killing intent. Sima Yu touched Blackie and said, oh, the duke's daughter is so miserable, what should we do? The two of us are going to be killed today. Woof woof. Blackie barked at her twice. Sima Yu smiled, and said, our Blackie has grown up now and knows how to protect me. Suck a good child, go ahead, you can do whatever you want. Go, kill them. Dong Qi Shuang saw that Sima Yu was not scared at all, and her leisurely attitude made herself seem like a clown and she became even more riled up. Go. Sima Yu patted Blackie, only to see a black shadow flashing in front of everyone, and then a scream resounded. The guard had only ran 2 steps forward, and fell down. Blood spurted out and splashed in front of the Dong sisters. For a moment, everyone in the room was stunned, as the gazes that looked at Blackie changed. A mere underworld dog actually harbored such strength? That was an underworld grandmaster, Dong Qi Lian's personal guard, and he was killed by an underworld dog without any spirit power? He died just like that? Were their eyes playing tricks just now? Woof. Woof. Blackie barked twice at the dead person on the ground, triumphantly. This horrid person, dare to come find trouble with this ancestor, look how you ended up. Sima Yu didn't expect that Blackie would have bitten someone to death so quickly. She didn't worry about making things big, it's just that if Blackie was exposed to others, it would attract the unwanted attention of others. Xiao Ruobai stared at Blackie with wide eyes. Sheer, where did this underworld dog of yours come from? It's so powerful. I'll have someone get one for me too. Blackie has no spirit power, it is just that it is faster and has sharper teeth. Sima Yu called out to Blackie, and it ran back. Woof. Woof. Blackie barked twice at Sima Yu, asking for credit. Emin, well done. Go back and I'll make some good food for you. Sima Yu hugged Blackie and prepared to leave. Stop. Dong Qi Shuang and the others finally recovered their senses. Their own guard was killed, how could they let them leave like this? What? How many more masters do you want to lose? Sima Yu stroked Blackie lightly. If you are willing, I don't mind Blackie killing a few more people. Dong Qi Shuang, today's affairs were clearly the fault of your own. Yet you want to throw all of it on us. Xiao Ruobai said, no matter what, Sheer is the daughter of the Duke, does your Dong clan want to rebel? My sister has already obtained the qualifications of the dynasty competition, yet she, a mere trash, dares to be compared with my sister? I don't want to be compared with a white lotus flower and lower myself. Sima Yu said, if you don't want to be like this person on the ground who died such an aggrieved death, it's best that you stay still. Ruobai, let's go. After that, she hugged Blackie and left Iridescent Cloud's pavilion with Xiao Ruobai. When Dong Qi Shuang saw that Dong Qi Lian did not stop them, she stomped her feet in anguish and shouted, sister, are we just going to let her leave like this? Dong Qi Lian's eyes darkened. Did she think that she could leave unscathed after provoking her? How could she allow such a thing to happen? However, she was now with Yuan Yan, and she could not appear to have such a fiery temper. Let's forget about this matter. Who made her the daughter of the Duke? Arrange for someone to dispose of the body. She glanced at Yuan Yan with a slightly aggrieved look, hoping to get some sympathy from him. But Yuan Yan didn't pay attention to her at all, but looked at the door thoughtfully. Ever since she came in, she hadn't even looked at him at all. Even if she glanced at him when she first came in to ascertain the situation, it seemed like she was looking at a stranger. Did she really change her temperament and no longer like good-looking men? Dong Qi Lian stared at Yuan Yan, who did not pay any attention to her at all, and asked, young Master Yuan, what are you looking at? Yuan Yan returned to his senses and saw Dong Qi Lian's curious eyes, and felt annoyed in his heart. Had he lost his mind? Why was he wasting his brain cells and thinking of that person? I'm not looking at anything, I was just thinking, somehow I feel that Murongxi is different. Today's matter was really embarrassing and has soiled your shop. Dong Qi Lian smiled, please let someone calculate the loss for these soiled spirit cloths and report it to my clan to claim. No, I can still bear this loss in Iridescent Cloud's pavilion. Besides, she doesn't blame you for this thing, so it can't be counted on to Dong clan. Yuan Yan had a faint smile on his mouth, both decent and not lost. Distance, a typical businessman smile. But if you look closely, you will find that the smile does not reach the bottom of your eyes at all. Dong Qi Lian heard him say this, the smile on her face was 2 points real, although this incident was caused by Murongxi's dog, but if it weren't for my fear, it wouldn't be like this, so there is still my reason. Yuan Yan suddenly felt that Dong Qi Lian's contrived style looked a bit painful, and nodded, since Miss Dong has said so, the shopkeeper, calculate the loss and report half of it to the Dong's house. Miss Dong, I still have something to do. Go ahead. Yuan Yan said that. Dong Qi Lian was stunned. Before she had time to stop him, she watched him leave the store blankly. He left? Just like that? When she reacted, her smiling face immediately turned black. How could he be like this? Sister, why did young Master Yuan leave just like that? He left you all alone. How could he do this? Dong Qi Shuang said the exact words that were screaming out in Dong Qi Lian's heart but unconsciously lost her sister's face again. He should have something to do. Seeing that he was gone, Dong Qi Lian was not as kind to Iridescent Cloud's pavilion as before, and said to the shopkeeper, shopkeeper, just calculate the cost and send it directly to Dong clan. Let's do it. Go. The shopkeeper of Iridescent Cloud's pavilion looked at the blood on the ground, while letting people clean up, while letting his people calculate the loss just now, he still muttered in his heart that the young master didn't look like he was on very good terms with young Miss Dong. Why did he agree to let her book the place? Moreover, he only said that he would send half of it to the Dong clan. He didn't say whether the remaining half should be sent to the Duke Manor. Should the Duke Manor bear this other half? Thinking of the manner his young master kept staring at Sima Yu's back, the shopkeeper still felt that the young master didn't seem to be angry with her, so don't send the remaining half. It's weird, didn't young master hate Murongxi very much? Why don't I feel that way? He whispered, then ordered the people, and turned back to the inner hall. Yuan Yan didn't know what was wrong with him. Why would he follow Sima Yu and others out? One of the tasks given to him by the clan was to build a good relationship with Dong Qi Lian. Yet, he followed his hated person out instead. After he had followed Sima Yu for a long time, he realized what he was doing. Why would you follow her? Was it because when I came out, I didn't see the panic on her face, instead I was talking and laughing with Xiao Ruobai, so I was led by the smile to follow her? But why? No, I'm only interested in that dog. He said to himself, and continued following. He was not the only one who was interested in Blackie. After Dong Qi Lian came out of Iridescent Cloud's pavilion, she instructed the people around her, send people to find out about that damn dog. After finding out, kill Murongxi for me. Sima Yu led Xiao Ruobai into a small alley. Yuan Yen hesitated for a moment, but still followed in. Unexpectedly, he saw two people staring at him as soon as he entered. My dear friend, you have followed us all the way, do you want us to pay for the loss at Iridescent Cloud's pavilion? Sima Yu asked. Yuan Yen opened his mouth and wanted to say that it wasn't like this, but how was he to explain what happened later? Why did he follow them? Don't you remember me? Should I know you? Sima Yu looked at him with doubts in her eyes, but her eyes were clear. I am Yuan Yen, he said. Young Master Yuan. Sima Yu nodded politely. The other party was still polite, so she didn't need to be rude. Xiao Ruobai thought of something, and whispered, Hey, you are Yuan Yen. Are you that? Yuan Yen? Do you know? Sima Yu looked at her, what do you mean by that Yuan Yen? Could there be another Yuan Yen? The corners of Xiao Ruobai's mouth twitched, and said, He is the young master of the Yuan clan who was molested by you and prevented you from going to Yuanji tea house to drink tea. Is it him? Sima Yu stared at Yuan Yen. Well, I used to be young and ignorant, so I was offensive to you, but it's been so long, don't tell me you're here to settle accounts, right? Yuan Yen looked at her, the surprise in her eyes was real, and the slight embarrassment was real. With this look, he thought her face was unprecedentedly pleasing to the eye. I'm not here to ask you to settle the previous accounts, he said, seeing her obviously relieved, and the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Then why are you following us all the way? If you are looking to recuperate your loss, go to young miss of the Dong clan. Anyway, your relationship is good. Sima Yu blurted out. I don't have a good relationship with her. Yuan Yen explained almost immediately without realizing it. He felt that his behavior was improper when he said it, but he didn't know why, just didn't want her to misunderstand him. It's just that we met in Crown City. She has some connections with my clan, so that's why I made an exception to entertain her. Then you are looking for me to recuperate your loss? I am very poor and have no money to give you. Sima Yu thought about her belongings. The money was given by Murong Hui, not her own, so she really had no money. But, if she knew about Black's treasure chest, she wouldn't think so. I'm not her to seek losses either. Yuan Yen said with a smile. Then what are you doing following us for? Sima Yu was surprised. Yuan Yen wanted to say that he didn't know why he would follow her, because he hated her so much before. Seeing Blackie struggling in her arms, he thought of a reason. I see that your contract beast is very powerful, it is not like a normal dog, so I wanted to see it, he said. Sima Yu hugged Blackie tightly, took a step back subconsciously, and said, My little dog, don't you guys want to grab it? I didn't want to grab it. If I really want to grab it, I won't show up in front of you. Yuan Yen explained, I'm just curious about it. An underworld dog that had no spiritual power fluctuations killed a grandmaster in a single bite. This was indeed very peculiar and aroused his curiosity. Really? Sima Yu narrowed her eyes and looked at him, her gaze made him feel that if he did indeed have intentions to this dog, she would kill him without hesitation. Really, I'm just curious and want to take a closer look, he promised. Sima Yu stared at him for a long time, and said, Alright, let me show you. Come here. Originally, she would not pay much attention to such a person, but when she thought that Murong Shi had taken liberties of others before and because of her identity, it would help her to resolve some previous grievances. Yuan Yen saw her beckon him and he really walked over in a trance, as if possessed, without any defense at all. Look, there's really nothing special about my little dog. It is just faster and has sharper teeth. Sima Yu put Blackie into Yuan Yen's hands. Blackie wanted to protest, but she stared at it. Yuan Yen hugged Blackie and stared at him. Blackie also barked at him twice. It's really nothing special. It's just faster. He checked Blackie, and he really didn't have any spiritual power. Sima Yu took Blackie back from his arms and said, You have never heard of the saying, there is no toughness in the world of martial arts that cannot be conquered, only speed at its utmost extreme that cannot be defeated? If Blackie does not have such a speed, even if it has sharp teeth, it will not be able to kill the Grandmaster. I would have been killed by the other party before I got close. Alright, you've seen what you've wanted, don't hate Sheer anymore in the future. Goodbye. She was talking about Sheer, not herself. That sentence was spoken for Murong Shi. Yuan Yen did not catch up this time, but watched them leave blankly. There is no toughness in the world of martial arts that cannot be conquered. He murmured and repeated her words. Suddenly, he had an epiphany and felt that the bottleneck that he was stuck in for a long time had loosened and he hurried back immediately. Xiao Ruobai was still thinking about what Sima Yu said after leaving the alley. You're right, there is no toughness in the world of martial arts that cannot be conquered. If we are able to be faster than others then we can seize the opportunity and win first. She said, so, when we're cultivating, it is not only necessary to improve one's level, but also to increase one's speed. Sheer, I seem to understand something. This truth is actually understood by many people, but everyone will inadvertently forget it. Sima Yu said. Xiao Ruobai stopped suddenly and said, Sheer, it seems like I'm about to advance. Why are you suddenly going to advance? Sima Yu asked. I was about to advance before, but I have not had enough inspiration, and now that I've been motivated by your words. Then you go back quickly, don't miss the opportunity. I'll be fine to go back by myself, I will have nothing with Blackie around, Sima Yu said. Xiao Ruobai thought about it, and said, I'll come back when I'm done. She left quickly. Sima Yu didn't know, she made two people successfully advance by saying something that couldn't be more ordinary. She put Blackie on the ground and said, "Shall we go back too?" Woof woof. Blackie barked twice with glee. Sima Yu looked around and saw a man with enchanting looks looking at her. This person was not unfamiliar to her. She saw him on the day of the quarrel with Dong Chi Shuang, and he was also looking at her then, just like how he was now. I don't know that the daughter of the Duke can actually say such a truth, and also makes people understand the truth and break through the bottleneck. Moj said. Who are you? Sima Yu stroked the anxious Blackie. Are you waiting for me here? What's the matter? It's alright, I just want to know you. I'm talking about you, not the daughter of the Duke. Moj smiled. Sima Yu looked at him, her heart sank. Who was he? Did he know her identity? Sima Yu looked at Moj vigilantly, mentally assessing how likely it was to quietly kill him. You are not Murong. Moj did not answer her question. He was not worried about the killing intent in her eyes, she seemed very calm, and the smile on the corner of her mouth did not change. If I am not Murong, then who am I? Sima Yu did not admit, did we know each other before? I don't know who you are, but I know you are not Murong. A person, even if he loses his memory, will not change his temperament. Moj said affirmatively, or, you can tell me who you are. I am Murong, she said. If you say so. Moj didn't care about her answer, I know it in my heart anyway. Then what else was there to talk about? She felt that this person was a bit inexplicable, and it seemed that his strength was not low, it should be a little difficult to kill him quietly. Since he didn't know her identity, then forget it and leave him alive. She held Blackie and walked directly around him. We will meet again. As she passed by him, he said meaningfully. Sima Yu smiled at him, did not even utter a goodbye. Moj looked at her away from the back, with a smile on the corners of her mouth, so she really. Ancestor, you really know me. Sima Yu had already left, and did not see the scene of him leaving quietly. She took Blackie to leave. In view of today's affairs, she wanted to throw Blackie into the spirit pagoda, but Blackie was so playful and refused to go in at all. What made her more collapsed was that she found that the spirit pagoda was damaged, and she had no strength, so she couldn't force Blackie to the spirit pagoda. So, Blackie didn't want to go back. She could only watch it running around on the street, curiously looking here and there, without realizing that she had been targeted by someone. Finally, under her threat, it finally followed her back reluctantly. As soon as she got home, the steward Murong Lin walked over and said anxiously, "Young miss, you are finally back." Sima Yu rarely saw him like this. She thought it was Murong Hui who had an accident, and her heart sank, and she asked, "What's the matter? Is it father?" "It's not the master, it's..." Murong Lin glanced at Sima Yu. "Someone sent a gift to the young lady." "Give me a gift?" Sima Yu looked at him in surprise. "Are you sure it was for me?" "Yes." Murong Lin was so surprised when she saw Sima Yu, knowing that she didn't know it, and said, "Someone sent a gift in the afternoon and indicated that it was for the young lady. I opened it and looked at the contents. You let's go and see for yourself." Sima Yu looked at the steward like this, and she had a bad feeling in her heart, and the steward dismissed everyone, then took out a black wooden box and handed it to Sima Yu. Sima Yu took the box and opened it, seeing the contents inside, her eyes widened, and she said in disbelief, "How?" Murong Lin kept looking at Sima Yu, seeing all her reaction in her eyes, seeing that her surprise was not like a disguise, and said, "I was surprised when I first saw it. Miss, you know that the person who gave you the gift is a person. Who is it?" "I just came to Vast City, I only know a few people." Sima Yu shook her head. "Are they the two masters?" Murong Lin guessed. "No." Sima Yu denied, "They have already left, even if they had secretly arranged for someone to stare at us, the matter of our arrangement of the spirit gathering array will not be passed to them so soon, and the spirit gathering beads will be gathered so soon." That's right, the black box contained the spirit gathering beads that they were searching for. But who knew that they were using the spirit gathering array, and knew that they needed the spirit gathering beads? It was thought-provoking. It's no wonder that Murong Lin's expression has changed. This was their secret. Now that it was known by others, it should be meant for her. This was even more weird. Because she only had one friend here who was Xiao Ruobai, but it was obviously not from her. The shadow of Moj appeared in Sima Yu's mind. She didn't know why, but she felt that he was the one who had given it. "Young miss, this person who gave this." Murong Lin was worried. Sima Yu put the things away, and said, "Since all these things have been delivered, it means that the other party already knows about the spirit gathering array. Then this thing. Since it's here, don't let it be given in vain." Sima Yu said, "I'll upgrade their spirit gathering array in a while." Murong Lin wanted to say that the identity of the other party was unclear, whether this thing should be treated with caution, but Sima Yu didn't care, and took this back again. "Steward, you know." Sima Yu wanted to find out about Moj's identity with the steward, only to realize that she didn't know Moj's name, so she described Moj's appearance. "I don't know when there was such a person in Vast City." Murong Lin thought about it for a moment, and could not think of such a person in Vast City. "Is this the person who gave the gift? I think 8 or 9 will never leave 10. Sima Yu said, "Since you don't know, then you don't need to worry about it. I'll take care of this matter. Go and work on other things." "Yes." Murong Lin responded and left. Sima Yu opened the box and looked at the 3 spirit gathering beads inside, not as calm as she seemed on the surface. This person has a more mysterious aura than others, but he has a sense of familiarity. Knowing that I need the spirit gathering beads means that he knows a lot about the Duke Manor. She looked at spirit gathering beads, judging from the meeting today, this person is not so easy to deal with. There are such uncertain factors around, which is really uncomfortable. Next time we meet, she must figure out his identity. If it was a risk factor, it must be pulled out as soon as possible. However, with me heir's current situation, I don't know if it can deal with it. The most urgent task now is to find that ore vein and restore its strength. Then I will cultivate my soul body and solve the seal in my body. She closed the box with a bang. Now, let's go use this thing, since it's here already, there's no point not using it. She went to Hibiscus Court and put the spirit gathering beads into the spirit gathering array. In order to cope with this, she also made a small change to the array. In this way, the spirit gathering effect was several times faster than before. In the next few days, she had been cultivating in retreat. Later, Xiao Ruobai came to her once and thanked her but didn't stay long. When she broke through to the middle of the soul condensing stage, Murong Hui also returned. Young miss. Young miss. Ting Shui ran in from the outside of the courtyard, and Ting Shan just came out of the house. Seeing her hurriedly running in, she reprimanded, "Be more calm, don't scare miss." No, something went wrong. Ting Shui ran too anxiously and she was distraught, her speech became incoherent. What's wrong, making you all flustered? Yes, it's the master. What's wrong with my father? Sima Yu opened the door, looked at Ting Shui, and asked in a deep voice. The master is injured, and he is calling the doctor over. It seems to be very serious. I don't know, miss, the master is in his courtyard. Before Ting Shu could finish her words, Sima Yu's figure was gone. Sima Yu ran to Murong Hui's yard in one breath, and the first thing she saw was Murong Lin, who appeared anxiously. Uncle Lin, how is my father? Miss, the master is very badly injured. The doctor in the house is rescuing him, but we have sent someone to call the elder Fu with the highest medical skills in the city, hoping that he will be able to treat him based on his previous friendships. Murong Lin didn't hide anything from Sima Yu. He knew that she wouldn't just lose control like Murong Shi. Even the doctors in the manor are useless. Father is so badly injured. Sima Yu whispered, let me see. Miss, several doctors are in there, and it's useless for you to go in. Steward. A guard ran in from the outside, saw Murong Lin panting and said, Elder Fu and Elder Fu are not in the city. What? Where did he go? Murong Lin yelled. Without Elder Fu, the doctor inside is not good, so who else can save the master? Elder Fu was still in the city 2 days ago, now I don't know where he went. The guard said, what are you talking about? Elder Fu is not here? How could this be possible? The second steward just came out of the house. Does the guard know that you are from the Duke's manor? Of course they do. The guard wanted to say that what he asked was nonsense. They were wearing the guard clothes of the Duke manor. Who in Vast City didn't know that they were from the Duke manor? The best doctors in the city are already inside, and now I can't find Elder Fu, who can save the master. How could Elder Fu go out of town at this time? Could this be arranged deliberately? The second steward asked. You can't take care of those anymore, you send someone to find him, and you must find Elder Fu. Once you find him, you must tie him over for me. Go. Sima Yu was worried, and stopped listening to these words, bypassing them and entering Murong Hui's room. As soon as she went in, she didn't see Murong Hui, but saw the 7 or 8 doctors surrounding his bed so that she could not see the situation inside. However, the doctors didn't play any role there, and they were just talking about their own guesses. Some people talked about how to deal with Murong Hui's hand injury, some people said how to repair his liver. Murong Lin also followed in. Seeing them like this, he smelled the strong bloody smell in the room and shouted, it's fine if you can't heal the trauma. Don't you even know the most basic hemostasis? Steward Lin, it's not that we don't know how, it's that the Duke is poisoned, and his blood can't be condensed at all, said a doctor. Poisoned? That's right. Without the antidote to this poison, there would be no way to stop the bleeding. However, we have used various methods to greatly reduce the bleeding of the Duke. Get these useless wastes out. Sima Yu yelled at the doctor in the room when she saw Murong Hui who was wrapped into a rice dumpling. With her roar, the room instantly calmed down. Uncle Lin, get rid of all these useless waste. Miss, those doctors have always been respected, but Sima Yu pointed to their noses to curse waste, and she was so angry that she couldn't say anything. Miss? Murong Lin was also surprised. If they weren't here, what would the master do? Uncle Lin. Sima Yu looked at Murong Lin. The latter saw her sharp eyes, and said to the other doctors, since our miss has spoken, you all go out. Murong Lin, she's just messing about, can't you tell the difference? You kick us out, what will the Duke do? It's been almost half an hour since father came back, do you have any use? Get out of here. Sima Yu really didn't have the slightest affection for these doctors, so even if he can't be cured, she is still standing before he can think of a detoxification method. The bedside talked loudly, claiming that he was already very good. This kind of person made her eyes hurt when she looked at him. Murong Lin heard her say this, and after thinking about it, he drove all those people out. The doctors were furious, but they were still kicked out of the room. Murong Lin closed the door, turned around and saw Sima Yu sitting by the bed, took out the scissors, and cut off all the bandages on Murong Qian, exclaiming, Miss, what are you doing? These are useless. Sima Yu's hand movement was very fast, and all the bandages were removed within a few strokes. Murong Lin looked at her, wondering if he wanted to stop her. Come here and help me. Move the stool over first. Sima Yu was taken aback when he saw him on the side, and ordered. Murong Lin didn't know why, but still waved his hand, sucked the stool over there, and put it next to her. Sima Yu took out the box containing the silver needles, and after opening it, all the silver needles inside were exposed. When Murong Lin saw the silver needles, he also understood that she wanted to stop the bleeding by herself. Sima Yu pierced the silver needles one by one into Murong Hui's acupuncture points, and his wounds slowly stopped bleeding. At this time, she was very fortunate that she had advanced a few days ago, and part of her power was automatically unblocked by the sealed power, which also improved her spirit power. Her strength increased, and the spirit pagoda was further unblocked, revealing more and more things. The silver needle was one of them. After a while, the blood on Murong Lin's body has completely stopped, and Murong Lin was very happy. Miss, the master's poison is detoxified? He didn't know the silver needle technique, so he didn't know the function of the silver needle. Thinking that those pharmacists could not stop the blood without detoxification, they thought that silver needles were really amazing. Sima Yuyu did not pull out the silver needle, took out the handkerchief, and wiped the blood off Murong Hui's face. The poison has not been solved. I just sealed it with silver needles, so I can stop the bleeding temporarily. You stay here, I need some time to study the poison in my father's body. After that, she took it. He left the house with a bloody handkerchief, and ordered no one to go in. Offenders will be killed. Sima Yuyu went to the next room, set up a barrier, and got into the spirit pagoda to study the poison in him. She was extremely thankful that she had learned a lot about the ghost realm because of her mother. While she was studying the poison in the spirit pagoda, Murong Lin was guarding Murong Hui. Seeing the silver needle on his body, and then looking at the array she arranged, he was full of emotions. Master, don't look at the young Miss Spirit Power, but the barrier that she set up is not so easy to break even for me. It's really amazing. He muttered, Miss can accomplish so many things at a young age. Princess Luo really gave birth to a good daughter. A few hours later, Sima Yuyu came out and took out a list of medicinal materials to Murong Lin, and said, you will find me the ones above, no later than tomorrow morning. Murong Lin took a look and said, these medicinal materials are not very rare. Most of them are available. Others need to be found outside, so it may take a little longer. But tonight should be available. Alright, I'll guard here, you can let someone do it. Sima Yuyu said. Murong Lin saluted and retreated. The sooner these medicinal materials were delivered, and the faster Murong Lin's poison could be purged. Sima Yuyu leaned on the head of the bed to rest. After a few days in the spirit pagoda, she had not rested, and now she was feeling a little tired. When the medicinal materials were gathered, she still needed to refine them, hence she had to maintain her best mental strength. When Murong Lin was ready, he came in with the medicinal materials, all she saw was her leaning on the bed with her eyes closed. He looked at her distressingly, she was very tired from before, right? Sima Yuyu felt someone come in, opened her eyes, and asked, everything all right? Yes. Sima Yuyu took Murong Hui's pulse and made sure that his condition was stable before she got up and said to Murong Lin, is there a person who is 100% reliable? 100% reliable? Murong Lin was startled, wondering why she said that. I don't think things are that simple this time. I don't trust the people in the manor, and I need to find someone who is 100% reliable to guard. Sima Yuyu said. I will guard the master. Murong Lin said. Sima Yuyu shook her head, I'll need your help for what I will do in a while. A person who is 100% trusted who also must have strong strength. It is not easy to confirm at this moment. Seeing Sima Yuyu's expression so dignified, Murong Lin also noticed the strangeness. In order to ensure the safety of Murong Hui, looking for an ordinary person wouldn't work anymore. I'll guard. A short figure came out from the door, and the barrier set by Sima Yuyu did not hinder him. She was still too weak. Sima Yuyu saw this old man. Wasn't it the very old man whom she had met in the book pavilion? Ancestor. Murong Lin saluted him. Sima Yuyu was not surprised, she had more or less guessed his identity at that time. Just go do what you need to do, leave the things here to me. The little old man said to the two of them. Then I'll have to trouble Ancestor, don't let anyone come near here. Uncle Lin, come with me. Sima Yuyu took Murong Lin to the next room, took out a cauldron, and said, I will refine the detoxification pill for a while. You are here to guard it. When I need you to inject spirit power, you follow me. Do what you say. My spirit power is too little to refine such a high-level pill. Murong Lin didn't expect that Sima Yuyu called him here for this, so he replied, all right. Sima Yuyu also stopped talking nonsense, took out a cauldron, and the medicinal materials that he had prepared, and began to skillfully refine it. Murong Lin had also studied alchemy for a period of time. At first glance, Sima Yuyu's movements were very proficient and could even be said to be at the master level. When refining the medicinal materials, Sima Yuyu made several mistakes in the middle, but luckily, everything else was completed smoothly. It is the first time refining the medicinal materials of the ghost realm. I am still not skilled in it. Sima Yuyu said, next, I will start to condense the pill. She didn't have her own flame yet, and the previous flame could not be used anymore, so she could only borrow an external fire. The operation was very unsatisfactory, and she did not succeed 3 times in a row. She took a deep breath, and secretly told herself not to worry, picked up the last refined essence, and began to refine. Murong Lin was secretly surprised when he saw her adjusting her state of mind. He kept looking at her and found that because she was not familiar with the pill of the ghost clan, she was not able to grasp it well, which led to several failures, and her mood was inevitably a little impetuous. But she didn't expect that she would calm herself down again in less than a minute. This character was really not something ordinary people had. After a while, he suddenly heard her order and asked him to imbue spirit power into it. He immediately walked to the cauldron and imbued his spirit power into the cauldron. Sima Yuyu controlled the situation in the cauldron and told Murong Lin what to do. Although the whole process was very hard, it was considered a success. She went up and opened the cauldron, and she was relieved to see the few strange-shaped pills inside. Let's try the effect of this pill. The two of them went back, saw the little old man's inquisitive gaze, nodded, went to Murong Hui's bed, and fed him the pill. It takes half an hour for this pill to take effect. Murong Lin felt that every minute and every second of this half an hour seemed like a year. It wasn't until half an hour later that Sima Yu went up and took Murong Hui's pulse, saying that he had been detoxified, and his hanging heart was completely relieved. Master is finally fine. He looked at Sima Yu happily, thinking that she really understood everything. Don't be happy too early. Sima Yu said while pulling out the silver needle. Now he is only detoxified, and his injury is still very serious. If not careful, he may not wake up. But at least his poison has been purged now, and it can be considered a big step. Murong Lin now believed in her medical skills. Don't spread the news about father's poison being purged for now. Sima Yu urged, don't be excited when you go outside. Little girl, what do you want to do? The little old man asked. I suspect that what happened to father this time should be caused by the appearance of an insider in the Duke Manor. I haven't figured out what to do yet, but I think this is better than telling it. Once the people outside know father's situation, we would become passive. Sima Yu said. Well, what Shi'er said is that you just said that the situation of the Duke is still very bad, and no one is allowed to disturb. The little old man ordered. Do you have any doubts? Sima Yu glanced at him and faintly said, if I have any suspicious people in mind, would not ask you to keep it a secret, but let you catch them. However, I think it won't be long before those people will jump out by themselves. Previous chapter. The news about Murong Hui's poisoning in his wound could not stop bleeding quickly spread throughout Vast City, and the entire Duke Manor was shrouded in a dark cloud. In those 2 days, bowls of blood-enriching decoctions were continuously sent in, and pots of blood kept coming out. People on the outside couldn't get in, and they were anxious about the situation inside. But Sima Yu gave an order not to allow anyone to enter, and they couldn't know the specific situation inside. Based on the previous situation, even though Murong Shi was favored by Murong Hui, her status in the Duke Manor was not high, and many people would not take her words to heart. But this time was different. The steward Murong Lin personally executed the order, and the clan elder personally took the seat, and no one dared to violate her order. But in Murong Hui's room, there was no such anxious atmosphere outside, but rather relaxed and cozy. Murong Hui and the little old man were playing chess on the bed. Murong Lin was watching them and Sima Yu was playing around with medicinal materials. She chopped up the medicinal materials sent in from outside to extract the essence, then put it in a bowl and put it on the ground. Blackie on the ground sniffed, and then lazily closed its eyes. If you aren't gonna drink, go back. Sima Yu threatened. Blackie protested twice, and obediently drank everything. In order to express its own little emotions, it ate the bowl together, and bit it fiercely. The movement here attracted the attention of the other 3 people. Seeing Blackie's grievance, they all smiled and shook their heads. If it doesn't want to drink, don't force it. The little old man was embarrassed. Sima Yu continued to fiddle with the medicinal materials, without raising her head and said, these medicinal materials have to be tried, or do you come, ancestor? The little old man looked at the medicinal herbs in her hand and shook his head, you should let your little dog give it a try. Blackie opened its eyes and glared at him, then reluctantly closed it again. Murong Hui was about to play chess, and when he heard that she had to study the medicinal materials, he said, Shi'er, how long will I have to stay here for? Father, your injury has not healed yet, you have to stay for at least 3 or 5 days. Sima Yu said, by then, Uncle Lin would also have picked out the mole. Do you really think this is something that a mole has done? The little old man asked. I don't believe in coincidences. Too many coincidences are gathered together, and that is because of ulterior motives. Sima Yu said, why would you encounter so many sacred beasts on your way back? Why is it that after father returns, only Elder Fu who can heal him disappears? Why does he have this kind of poison that will not be found without bleeding? And the person who can poison his father must be able to approach him. Adding all these things together, it's hard not to make people doubt it. From the time she knew that Elder Fu was not here, she felt that way, everything was too coincidental, and the coincidence made her feel that it was not a coincidence at all. Then, who do you think this mole will be? Murong Hui asked. Father, don't you all already have a suspect? Why are you asking me for? Sima Yu pouted, I don't care about those things, I only need to heal my father. I'm really curious, how many things do you know? The little old man said, medicine, alchemy, array, what else can you do? 1. That's all I know. Sima Yu said, it happens that I have learned a little before. The 3 of them looked at her, obviously no one believed. By the way, father, are you going out this time to deal with Orvanes? Are you interested in Orvanes? Sima Yu asked. I originally wanted to deal with this matter, but now it seems that this matter should also be fake news released by others. Murong Hui said. Fake news? Sima Yu felt unreliable. Because it's not just me, but several families are involved in this matter, but no one really found that vein. Murong Hui explained, we have been searching the surrounding mountains, and nothing has been discovered. In addition, I was calculated by others, so I feel that this news should be fake, it is the news that was released to lead me into a trap. What if that news is true? Sima Yu asked. Really? Why do you think so? Murong Hui asked. Because. I think the person who set up the trap didn't release this news out of thin air. If the news is too fake, it won't be able to convince you. Sima Yu did not say me thinking of such an excuse, and it was considered to be an excuse. You're right. Murong Hui felt so too. The news we got before is really true. Otherwise, I wouldn't be rushing over with someone. But after I got there, I haven't looked for it for a long time. I found it, so I think the news is false. But after listening to your analysis, I think it makes some sense. Father, I've researched a little bit about finding or veins. Why don't you wait until this matter is over and I will go find it with you. After Sima Yu finished speaking, she found that they were staring at herself and asked, what's the matter? Do you still know how to look for or veins? Murong Lin asked in surprise. A little bit. Sima Yu said, although I don't understand very well, one more person has more power. Maybe I can help. That's what you said. Then you can go together. Murong Hui agreed. The more he got along with Sima Yu, the more he felt that she was very capable, and maybe she could really help him find the veins. The situation in Vast Region has been very severe recently. Although he is deeply loved by the prince, the hard conditions of Vast Region are not enough. It is of great significance to Vast Region for the prince to find or veins. Someone is coming. The little old man threw the chess piece in his hand into the chess box. Really, so coming only after so many days, simply a waste of my time. Miss, stay with master, those people won't break in. Murong Lin said. All right. Sima Yu nodded. With her strength, she wouldn't rush to die. Murong Lin and the little old man went out. She heard voices of questioning and fighting outside the room, and turned to look at Murong Hui. Murong Hui was still studying the chess game on the table, and he was not worried about the outside situation at all. It seems that today's situation was already expected. She pouted, it was obvious that they had an arrangement like this. Then they still asked her those just now, didn't they just want to test her? Outside, the second steward led people to surround the entire courtyard. Murong Lin and the others were not surprised at his appearance. They didn't even question him, and the two sides started fighting directly. Father, do you know it was the second steward? Sima Yu asked. I know. There are only a few people who can know my whereabouts so clearly. The others came back after I went to Eternal Brilliant City. He is the only one who can betray me. Then do you know who is behind him? Sima Yu asked again. Being able to be the second steward of the Duke Manor shows that he was still trusted by Murong Hui in the past. In the past few decades when he went to Eternal Brilliant City, he was instigated by others, which shows that the other party was still somewhat capable. Just a little. Murong Hui didn't intend to elaborate. She would better not know so much about those conspiracies. When Sima Yu saw him say this, she knew that he was a little bit deep in his heart, so she stopped asking more questions and continued to study the medicinal materials in front of her. Woof woof. Blackie got up from the ground and bit the corner of her skirt. No, it's too dangerous outside, you can't go out. Be good, come and eat this. Woof woof. The protest is invalid. Blackie was crying silently in his heart. Waiting for Murong Hui to finish the game of chess, all the medicinal materials in front of Sima Yu were refined and poured into Blackie's mouth, and the battle outside was also over. She got up, patted Blackie on the head, and Blackie immediately became energetic. Father, I won't be involved in the rest of the matter. Remember to notify me when to set out to look for the veins. All right. Thanks to you this time. Murong Hui said gratefully. Without her, he would have bled to death. Sima Yu smiled, and walked out with Blackie. There was black blood everywhere outside with a foul stench. Woof woof. It smells really bad. Woof woof. Well, I won't let you eat so many herbs later. Woof woof. I know, I won't let you take so many medicinal materials next time. Alas, if little Seven was there, I would definitely not dislike it. Woof woof. There were also guards in the courtyard cleaning up the mess. Hearing the conversation between one person and one dog, they all glanced at her subconsciously. They have all heard the conversation between Murong Lin and the second steward. This time, thanks to her medical skills and tactics, it would be unimaginable. Now, no one dared to despise this young miss anymore. A few days later, Murong Hui had been dealing with the follow-up of this matter. He appeared in front of everyone unharmed, and the dark clouds covering the Duke Manor completely dispersed. Because of Murong Hui's arrangement, except for the people in the Duke Manor, no one else knew that the Duke Manor had experienced such a dangerous thing, let alone that she had come to resolve the crisis. On this day, an old man, who had not been seen at the beginning, welcomed an old man in the Duke Manor. When Elder Fu saw Murong Hui, he pleaded first, Duke, I was led out of the city. I was not in the city when you needed me the most, leaving you in distress. I am sorry, my Duke. Murong Hui helped him up and said, I can't blame Elder Fu for this matter, and you don't have to blame yourself. I heard that you were poisoned that day, and the doctors were helpless. I don't know who rescued you later. Elder Fu asked. The smile on Murong Hui's face was stiff for a moment, but it was fleeting and was not seen by Elder Fu. He smiled and said, actually, I was not poisoned. It was just a wrongly spread by others. You were not poisoned? Elder Fu was stunned. Why would you send someone to find me? It's just that those injuries seem to be serious, so I want to ask Elder Fu to have a look. Murong Hui explained, it must be those people who passed the news wrongly. Otherwise, there is no Elder Fu, how can I survive? Really, there was no poisoning? Elder Fu didn't believe it yet. That's right. Murong Shi nodded affirmatively. Why, Elder Fu seems to be very concerned about my poisoning. I am very concerned. Elder Fu admitted, I heard about this when I returned to the city, and I have always blamed myself for not being able to help my Duke. Now that I know that you are not poisoned at all, I am relieved. Thank you Elder Fu for your concern. Murong Hui smiled. Since the Duke is alright, then I won't bother you anymore. Elder Fu said a few words, and the guard sent him out. Murong Hui watched Elder Fu's eyes gradually become cold. Yes, master. Murong Lin took the. You send someone to check, who has been in contact with him recently. In addition, send someone to follow him and pay close attention to his actions. Yes, master. Murong Lin took the order and left. Father, what is the origin of this old man? Sima Yu asked when she came out of another door. Before Elder Fu came, Sima Yu was discussing with Murong Hui about finding or veins. When she heard Elder Fu came, she went to avoid it temporarily, but she didn't expect to hear such a thing. Judging from what Elder Fu said just now, his reaction to the fact that Murong Hui was not poisoned was so strange that it made people sniff something out of the ordinary. Elder Fu has served as a doctor in the royal palace. For some reasons, he left the palace and arrived in Vast City. He is the teacher of the little prince, so his status is high. Even the prince also praised his medical skills, and others even admire him more. Murong Hui explained to her. Is it the little prince who wants to kill father? Sima Yu asked. No. Murong Shi shook his head. The little prince is the prince's most respected child, and he has already been determined to be the next prince. I am loyal to the prince, so there is no conflict of interest between me and him. So that means that other people bought this old man and tried to cut off you, a person who doesn't know the current affairs. Sima Yu guessed, who is the most likely to have so many sons? There are several possibilities, Murong Hui said. As for who is most suspicious, the one who is most jealous of the throne is not necessarily the most suspicious. Sima Yu agreed. Some people usually look low-key, but people say that dogs that can bite will not bark. Who knows if they have done anything secretly? Father, since this Elder Fu is the little prince's teacher, you can't kill it directly. Otherwise, even a mole will leave a knot in the little prince's heart. When there is conclusive evidence, tell the little prince. Was betrayed, it would be better for him to solve this matter himself. Murong Hui nodded. I plan to do that too. Then when shall we look for our veins? She asked. After tomorrow. Father, if you find a vein, let me open the potential. You? Well, I haven't seen the ore veins of the ghost realm yet, and I want to study it. If I can't, you let a spirit seeker master do it, alright? Murong Hui was a little worried that she would mess up the situation and ruin the veins, but he only hesitated for a few seconds before agreeing. If you want to go, go, but you can't break the veins. He exhorted. Thank you, father. Then I'll go back and prepare. Sima Yu finished speaking, and left happily. Murong Hui looked at her cheerful back and laughed. It seems that you can really find the veins. But why did he believe in her so much? Previous chapter.